This one. And again, new laptop here. There we go. All right.
Okay, there we go. That was my detoxing. I love detoxing. No, but it's excellent. We're going to talk a little bit about that too as we go. So tonight we're going to talk about the digestive system. Okay, what is the digestive system? Why it's so important? What happens when we don't take care of it? Different things like that. We're going to kind of delve into it and talk about the importance of taking care of your digestive system. So what is it? What is your digestive system? The digestive system, basically the gastrointestinal tract, which includes your mouth, stomach, small intestines, and large intestines. Okay, that is your what really consists of. So approximately 90 to 97% of all the nutrients consumed. Now that includes all your carbohydrates, protein, fat, fluids, minerals are absorbed through the GI. When we talk about the digestive system, it starts right from the time you put something in your mouth. The absorption of food begins in the mouth and extends all the way to the colon, and we're still absorbing right up until the time that we eliminate, believe it or not. And so each area is responsible for, as it goes through the body, is responsible for breaking down foods with a variety of enzymes and absorbing nutrients. So what are nutrients? Nutrients include the proteins, carbohydrates, fat, water, vitamins, minerals. And proteins are broken down into amino acids. And amino acids, for those of you who have done cytoscans, sometimes we see that the amino acids are stressed. In other words, we're not getting enough of them. And it can be two reasons. Number one, it can be that we're not eating enough good protein. And number two, it could be that your system is not breaking down the proteins that you're putting in your body, whether it's food, whether it's vitamins, whatever it might be. So it's always important to know that you know and being absorbed into the system so that you get the nutrients into the cells, because that's where it's actually put into. Now, carbohydrates, they digest. Fats break down into fatty acids or glycerol, which can be used as energy sources. So you have your different nutrients that do different things. Your amino acids, which helps with the structure of the cells and keeps the cells healthy. The carbohydrates and the fats break down into energy. So now, when we take the proper vitamins and minerals, it helps to convert food into energy for the body. So by doing that, you're going to end up with, so the screen is freezing.
I'm gonna get through that pack.
Okay. Huh?
Keep going.
Okay. So that helps with the bones and fighting infections, healing of different things, whether it be wounds or nerves, healthy, etc. So in reality, when people start having nerve issues, they don't heal properly, etc., it's normally because we're not getting the nutrients into the right places. And oftentimes people will tell me, well, shouldn't I be taking this or that, whatever it is? And the answer a lot of times is no, you don't need it, because you need other nutrients that will do the same thing, or you have enough, whether it be calcium or vitamin D or whatever it might be. So again, everything starts in the mouth. And then what happens once you start chewing, and then the enzymes, which are in the stomach, will break down the foods that we just aforementioned. Okay. So what are the symptoms of an overtaxed digestive system? Okay.
Sorry.
Impaired liver and pancreas. And what is the importance of liver and pancreas? Well, the liver helps to purify the blood. It works with the pancreas in order for to have the insulin that we need to keep our blood sugar properly level. So when they're impaired, that is when people will start going into a state of diabetes, whether it be type 1 or type 2 diabetes. Type another issue is improper elimination, whether it be constipation or diarrhea. Now, a lot of people say, well, you know, I vacillate between constipation and diarrhea, and they call that IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. But constipation and diarrhea in reality are the same thing, okay? Constipation or diarrhea is part of constipation. So a lot of times when people go back and forth, they'll be constipated, they'll eliminate, and then they'll end up with diarrhea. But we think when we have the diarrhea that everything's been moved out, and that is untrue. A large part of the stools that have been blocked stay there, and they don't release. And then when we get more stuff in, it just manifests, connects, and it goes along the walls of the colon, and then it keeps on constricting the colon, which obviously creates a lot of toxins, which can then impair the liver, and then affect the pancreas in the long run. Another symptom is poor immune response. In other words, a lot of autoimmune issues, whether it be arthritis, whether it be fibromyalgia, lupus, all those kind of things are caused by a weakened immune system. As I mentioned, inadequate absorption of nutrients. If we don't get the proper nutrients, then the system doesn't work properly. Another symptom is digestive disorders, gas, bloating, heartburn, indigestion. You know, I had a woman come in today, and I was doing a Zyto, and we were talking, and she was saying that her husband is always passing gas, and he had told her that because she doesn't, that's abnormal. Okay. And a healthy system is not going to have a lot of gas, not going to have a lot of fluctuation. Fluctuation is a breakdown. The nutrients, the food and things aren't being broke down, which then builds up gas. And sometimes it's because we're not moving stools properly. But a lot of people think it's, for lack of better words, funny or cute to have that issue, and which really it isn't. It's not a good thing to have overabundance. People will have it periodically simply because we eat maybe things the body is not accustomed to, but we should not be passing gas, burping, belching all the time. That is a definite sign of an overtaxed digestive system. And ultimately, all of these things can lead to cancer of liver, pancreas, the different organs in the body that are designed to take care of us. But when they become overloaded with toxins, then they don't, and they basically decay, and that's what creates the cancer situation. Okay. So this kind of gives you an idea of the system. As I mentioned, it starts in the mouth. Okay, so as soon as you put something in your mouth, you start to digest. As soon as you start chewing, you start to digest. And the thing is that when you smell good food, a lot of times we will salivate. Okay. If you have pets, a dog or some, and sometimes they get ready to eat, you'll see them kind of slobber. That's because the brain knows they're going to eat, the body gears up for a breakdown of foods. But we do the same thing. Hopefully we don't slobber. Okay. But that is, so it starts in the salivatory. The tongue is part of it. Okay. The epiglottis, the esophagus, and then we have the more common things that everybody knows about, the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. So those, and then actually as it progresses, we get into the duodenum, which is, the stomach first, and then the gallbladder and duodenum are involved. And then it moves on down into the GI tract, which is your small intestines, which is the orange in the middle. That actually goes through the small intestines first. And then after the small intestines, because most of your nutrients are dispersed into the body from the small intestines. And then it goes into the colon, and it goes down into the colon right above the appendix. And it goes in, and there's a valve called the ileocecal valve. And it's kind of a flutter valve, and it opens and shuts. And that's one of the reasons why people that have a healthy system, they don't get a lot of gas, because the ileocecal valve opens and shuts properly. If it's blocked or left open all the time, you'll have more incidences of diarrhea. If it stays shut too much, you'll have gas and it'll actually back up. And that's where you get your bloating, your burping, belching, that type of thing. And then it moves up the colon, which is called the ascending, and across the top of the colon, which normally the colon is right around where the navel is, or a little bit lower than the navel. So if you feel discomfort right around the navel area on either side, that is the elbows of the colon as it comes up and then turns, and then the transverse, and then as it goes back down, it goes down through the ascending part of the colon, obviously to the rectum and out through the anus. So that's basically the intestinal tract. Okay, so but it runs through virtually the whole body, and it takes care of nutrients disbursements. It takes care of the gases. It takes care of toxic waste. It takes care of everything if it's healthy. So, okay. Now, your digestive tract, which is the length of the human digestive tract as compared to the human form. Now, the colon from the anus to the ileocecal valve, which is up around the appendix, is normally your height with your arms stretched straight up. That's normally how long that part of your intestinal tract is. Obviously, it runs up through, and the small intestines are packed inside of the colon. And the colon is kind of a horse-shaped organ with the small intestines packed in, and all the rest of it. So how many phases everything has to go through in order to digest properly and then eliminate from the body. So it's not a matter of eating and just eliminating. And when people tell you that when I eat, I have to go to the bathroom because it ran right through me, that is not true and never runs through us. Normally, it's because we are not eliminating properly. And when we put food in our system, more food creates pressure and it moves things through. We don't want that. We want things to move and I'll get into more the time frame a little bit later, but we want it to run through about 24, 36 hours range from the time you put something in your mouth till that particular thing comes out of your body. So the colon is the large intestine. Okay. The colon, when it's healthy, looks like that in the body. Most people's colon do not look like that because we haven't taken care of the colon properly. And the large intestine really is the human waste disposal. That's where after most of the digestion is done through the small intestines, once it enters into where you see the little, see me point, where they, I'm sorry.
Why don't you grab the colon right there on your desk?
Okay, where it enters here, which is the ileocecal valve, and then it moves up, across, and down. Okay, and when that happens, there's a peristaltic action, which is almost like a caterpillar action, and it just keeps on squeezing to make it move through the system. That's what we want. We want what is called peristaltic action, and that's just like a movement, and it's automatic if the body's healthy. It's hot. So it goes up through and then comes down. But a healthy colon looks like that. Now, when you have an unhealthy colon, you have a lot of things that can happen inside the colon, which is things like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, many other issues that can create the colon not to function properly. And that's normally because we've kind of abused most of our lives. We've abused our system, and the colon becomes crinkled up and twisted. And when that happens, anything that's twisted, if you think of a water hose, it gets twisted or bent to your colon. And everything, practically everything that we eat, breathe, drink, that it runs through the colon. Okay. And the body is trying to slough off through the colon. And so when we don't move stools, we get what is known as atrophied tissue or indigestible fibers and foods. Okay. And that's really the purpose of the colon, to get rid of it. So it's kind of the dumpster of our body. Or was supposed to see the slide. Okay.
Are you not seeing the screen, Kim?
Has everybody seen the screen? Can somebody just tell me if you're seeing the slides? Okay. Jane, you're seeing them?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, great, thanks.
Now, medical doctors will tell you that 95% of all disease begins in the toxic colon. Of all disease, not just colon disease, okay, not just, but every disease, whether it's cardiovascular, all the way to brain disease, okay? Again, a woman was in here, I was doing a Zyto on her, and she was telling me that both of her parents had dementia. Now, you can have the genes, and if you live the same lifestyle, and when I asked her how her parents' health was, it's not good. All right. And so we got to quit worrying about what other people have in our family and worry about what we have. But I do caution people and say, look, if you're not taking care of yourself and you abuse your body, then you'll probably get the same thing that your parents had if they didn't take care of themselves, because you have the same gene. So it's all about taking care of it. So on average, the whole digestive tract is 30 feet long. So, if you're 5 foot, it's, 6 times your height. Okay. If you stretch it out from the mouth to when you eliminate, if you stretch it all out. And again, it's the whole designation of to absorb and eliminate waste. To pick out what's good for your body, send it to the places it's supposed to go, and then eliminate what's left over. the garbage, okay, which is a colon. And of course, if you think of that perspective, and then it's supposed to eliminate the waste, but you have a block and it can't eliminate, then obviously if you had garbage sitting in your trash can for days, weeks, and it started rotting, that's what happens in our colon, which doesn't sound too pleasant, but that's really what happens, okay? That's when we start getting smells and, bad taste coming up through our mouth and different things like that. So you can see those pictures, you see a healthy colon, and then you see the unhealthy colon. And you can see the big difference of what is healthy from the outside as well as the inside. And these are actually taken from x-rays that they do. So digestive process, the entire process should take 24 to 36 hours. Okay. If you have poor health, poor lifestyle, you're eating poorly, you're putting calories, fast foods, processed food, up to 6 to 30 days for everything to move through your body. Now, if you think of this, if you took food and you put it on your counter for 6 days, 10 days, 20 days, and at the temperature of the body, okay, 99 degrees, moist, and let it sit there, just think of what that food would look like. And would you want it in your body? So the key point is that you need to understand that everything has to move through the body on a regular basis. You're always going to have waste in your body, always, because you're eating, you're drinking, you're breathing, etc. The colon obviously becomes clogged because the opening becomes smaller and smaller as the putrefied fecal matter builds up. It's like the waste in a pipe. It just keeps on building, and so the opening becomes smaller and smaller, and it's called incrustation of layers, okay, around the colon walls. So then what happens is it begins to decompose, ferments, and putrefy. And obviously when that happens, that waste then is put into the body in many other areas of the body, not just in the colon, because the colon can't hold it. And the colon is not, it's porous. So therefore, we call it leaky gut. And then the body becomes very unhealthy. What happens is that the colon can act, and then that waste gets cascaded through the body, and it can cause major, major problems to include death. Okay, so the digestive process is, first of all, we put it in our mouth. Okay, that's obvious. Okay, we put it in our mouth. Then we start chewing, because people that eat and gulp their food down, whether you're eating because you only have a limited time or hurry, you are at work, you're driving, whatever, and you're starving, so you eat too fast. We have to take time to chew the food, because chewing breaks it down into smaller pieces. So like anything else that you're trying to break down, the smaller the pieces, the more it's broke down, the easier it is for it to run through any system. So we want to be cognizant of chewing. It's very important, because it also breaks down the food so the nutrients can escape into your body, rather than stay within the hard pieces of foods and then just travel through the body, and you eliminate the nutrients as much as you eliminate the waste. So the food is swallowed, travels down to the esophagus, to the stomach, okay? When it enters the stomach, then the stomach breaks it down even more, because the stomach has a system, and a lot of people think that the stomach has this like a barrel of acid just waiting for something to drop in, and it dissolves it. Okay, that's not the way it works. the stomach has a process, and it's very similar to the colon, the peristaltic action, and it breaks it down. And then a certain amount of acid is entered into the stomach. And then what happens is everything has to be broke down because it can't go into the small intestines whole. It just can't. If you do, you're going to have a major problem. Well, they call it chyme, but the chyme when it's broke down. And then it enters into this first part of the small intestines, which is called the duodenum. And the duodenum, as you saw before, is right before the jejunum. And then the nutrients are absorbed through the intestinal walls and transported through the body. As I mentioned, the small and large intestines are porous, and that's how it's sent through the intestinal walls. But the body has a way, it's called innate intelligence, to separate the good from the bad. Now, if we eat all unhealthy food, we're a McDonald's person or whatever, even though it tastes good, we have to understand that now there's nothing good in there. So the body will just try to put in what it can, but it's not enough, or a lot of it becomes unhealthy when the body is trying to survive. So the leftover waste, after you separate the good from the bad, okay, then it goes on into the large intestines, and that is what is later expelled. So a little bit later, we're going to talk a little bit how to look at that and see what's going on, all right? So elimination of the undigested food through the large intestine usually begins after a total of 24 hours, usually. It can be a little bit earlier. There are people, men probably more than women, can eliminate a little bit earlier, because if you, the more muscle you have, then that helps the intestinal tract to move to move things through. But 24 hours is what we really like to look for. Okay. So digestive enzymes, what are they? How do we get them? And it's more than just taking our enzymes. Okay. I want to go into that. So digestive enzymes are proteins, and they're all over our body. They're through our entire body. Okay. So it's not just in the intestinal tract. We have enzymes all throughout our body. If we don't have enough enzymes or the digestive enzymes, we're setting ourselves up to develop diseases, imbalance, or obesity. So sometimes people tell me, well, I take my when I feel bloated, when I feel gassy, when my stomach hurts. Well, or get indigestion. That's too late. In essence, we should be taking enzymes all the time, because you cannot take too many enzymes. It's impossible. All right. So when we wait until we're sick, kind of the conventional medicine modality, then we wait till we're sick to go. And when you take care of the body, you take care of it so that hopefully you don't have to go. All right. So when you don't have enough enzymes in any particular part of the body, it borrows it from other systems in the body. And usually it's a digestive system, because that's where the bulk of enzymes are. Kind of like calcium, we need calcium in places, bones, blood, muscle. But when you run out, it'll take it from somewhere else, because it has a higher need for something somewhere else. So it'll steal it from the place that has the most enzymes. So, and there's a lot of different enzymes, and they're all specific in their function. Okay. Enzymes for metabolism, which is energy, enzymes for elimination, digestion, reproduction, breaking down of nutrients, everything that the body does, there are enzymes for that. Now, we don't have to take enzymes for your heart. Okay, your body's going to produce that. But if we don't get enough and eat right and take care of ourselves and get the right nutrients, then if the enzymes get low in that part of your body, it's going to go to the digestive tract. It's going to steal them from there. And then all of a sudden we say, I've been eating good, and all of a sudden I'm having some digestive problems. And that's normally a sign that it's somewhere else in our body that needs it, and that therefore we are lacking in our digestive system. Period. Okay. Somebody today, we talked about good bacteria and bad bacteria. You have to have bad bacteria in your body to live. You cannot survive if you don't, which sounds like an oxymoron, but in reality, it is that that is have some of everything in our body, whether it's yeast, unfriendly bacteria, digestive enzymes, other enzymes that we need in our body. So sometimes when people are tired all the time, it's a lack of enzymes, just as much as it is if you don't eliminate. Okay, so different glands and organs secrete digestive enzymes. Okay, so these are the glands that that actually secrete your salivary gland, which is in your mouth. Okay, your gastric glands, and your gastric glands are the glands in the lining of the stomach. Okay, that play a huge role. As I mentioned before, when you eat, the stomach doesn't have a barrel of acid waiting for it. Okay, those glands are mucus secreting cells, and the mucus lines the entire stomach and protects from the effects of hydrochloric acid, which is released from other cells in the glands. So the key is that we want to make sure that each one of these glands are taken care of. The liver. The liver is extremely important in protecting is strictly important in taking care of the body, because the liver, again, deals with sugar, deals with blood, it deals with waste. Gallbladder secretes, because a gallbladder is the protector, call it the oil filter of the body. All those kind of things. And then our pancreas, as we mentioned again, the pancreas is for sugar, balancing blood, some of the same things that the liver does. So the liver and the pancreas are very closely related. Okay. Now, sources of food that I want to see sources of food enzymes. What foods are good for sources of enzymes? And that is raw fruit. Source of enzymes. Now, when people are on Candida program, they cannot have fruit, okay, because the sugar in fruit feeds it. So we have to take them off, knowing that people are going to be a little bit harder to get enzymes from food. So we increase the amount of enzymes that we want people to take so that we can balance that. Raw vegetables. Now, it doesn't always have to be raw, as long as they are crunchy. Grill them, whatever you might do. But the very best way is to juice them. So you have the enzymes, they just leave the juice. But if you overcook your vegetables or fruit, important how you cook them. I always tell people when you're walk into a place and you smell the vegetables people are cooking and it smells so good, those are your enzymes. And probably if you get close enough to the pot that's steaming them, you'll actually start salivating because you will be breathing them in and your body wants those. Raw nuts and seeds, especially your almonds, different things like that. And pasteurized milk also. Now, when I say milk, to the body. So the foods that we eat has three main components. Okay, now carbohydrates, protein, and fat. What's the one thing that you don't see there that people love to eat? What is it, Patty?
Sugar?
Yeah, sugar. Okay, you don't see sugar listed. Now, do we need sugar? Well, yeah, but we get the sugar in a proper way, which is through carbohydrates. So in order for the body to utilize everything, they have to be broken down to the basic form. And these are the types of three things that in an enzyme that you need when you take enzymes. Amylase breaks down the carbohydrates. Protease breaks down protein. And lipase breaks down fat. So it's not like just any old any old enzyme will just do everything. You have to have the right things within the protein, the enzyme, in order to break each of the different three components of food down. So that's very important. And again, when I have people on programs, I make them take at least 6 enzymes a day minimum. Most people need more because as they start getting healthy, the body starts to change and they find that symptoms is realizing that it doesn't have the enzymes in. So you say take as many enzymes as you need. You can never overdose on enzyme. You can't get too many. Why don't you talk about this while I take a drink?
So here is our release enzyme, and it has those 3 enzymes that John was just talking about. It has the protease, the amylase, and the lipase. Okay, so those are the ones that we need for your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fat. So again, like John mentioned earlier, enzymes isn't just for, oh, I feel gassy. You want to take enzymes all the time so you don't get gassy. So it helps your food to break down better. So you are absorbing the nutrients, passing out of your colon what you don't need, the waste.
And one thing on the slide I just want to mention, Melise came out with a bottle of 60, but if you look at servings per container, it says 45 enzymes at a time. Okay, so a serving is 2 of them, and you should be taking 2 with every meal. And I'm not saying that ever, and that's a great thing about our Zytoscan. And that will show. But on this particular one, or any enzyme that's quality, you should be taking 2 capsules each time you take it, whether you're eating or not eating. If you feel indigestion between meals, you should be taking 2, even though you took some with meals. So what causes the depletion of enzymes? First of all, overcooking. Okay. Overcooking is one of the biggest problems that we have when we eat, because especially people that eat in restaurants, it's just they overcook because they cook big vats of things. And today's vegetable is, let's say, green beans. Well, they don't cook each serving of green beans when people come in, okay, and order it. Okay, it would take too long. Number one, they wouldn't know how much to have. So they overheat, and sometimes at home we overheat because a lot of people say, you know, I just put it in my mouth and it melts in my mouth. No, it doesn't melt in your mouth. It's depleted of everything, so it becomes very soft. Pesticides and chemicals, whether it's in the food, whether it's in the air, whether it's in your drinking water, whatever it might be, causes enzyme depletion because it's a chemical. And when we have a lot of chemicals, the enzymes are actually trying to break those down, which depletes the enzymes, so you don't have them. So people that test on our Zyto with pesticides and chemicals, normally we know that they're going to need enzymes. A genetic engineering, okay, GMO. This is the worst thing that's ever happened, in my opinion, to food. We grow food that's not really food. We sell food that's not really food. So what weed killers and stuff won't kill. And that's why they can spray all this stuff all over the place, and then it doesn't kill the plant. It only kills the weeds. Growth hormones. Growth hormones are especially found in all found in animals. We use it in plants too because it's called genetic engineering. It's kind of the same thing, but bovine growth hormone is in animals. They inject them with steroids basically to make the animal grow faster, so that a chicken can be hatched and butchered within a very short amount of time because we pump them up with the hormones. Just like when people take hormones, growth hormones, kids grow much faster, they develop, their bodies develop much quicker, and it's not good for them because the body has a system. But when we do that, it creates, whether it be in animals or the human body, it creates a major problem of enzyme depletion. Because remember, there's enzymes in our food. So if you're eating genetically engineered food or meat with growth hormones, you're eating food without any enzymes. A pasteurization, when it comes to milk and different things, and sometimes fruit juices do the same thing. They eliminate all of the enzymes and the nutrients from it in fluorinated water. There was a time when they said fluorinated water was a breakthrough. It was healthy, and they've since found out that it creates havoc with the body and a breakdown of the digestive enzymes. Okay. Did you know, okay, that the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder all aid in digesting food? It's not just the large and small intestines in the stomach. So those organs help to digest food. So that's so important that we take care of those organs. Food moves about 2 inches per second in the esophagus. That's pretty quick. All right. So things move quite rapidly, especially in the beginning of the digestive process. Carbohydrates spend the least amount of time in the stomach. Proteins stay in the stomach much longer, and fats are the longest. And regardless of what protein it is, okay? So if you're looking for protein, because protein creates energy, and that's why it stays in the stomach longer. Carbohydrates creates energy, so it moves quicker. Fats will be the longest to break down for the body.
Don't we know that?
Hmm?
Don't we know that?
And here's a kind of an idea of how long it takes. So water, things like aspirins and all that, alcohol, takes 0 to 10 minutes to exit the stomach once it reaches the stomach. That is why people that drink alcohol will, 2 or 3 drinks, they start feeling a buzz because it doesn't stay in the stomach, it goes into the bloodstream. Juices, 15 to 30 minutes. Fruits, 30 to 60. Melons, 30 to 60 was fruit. Sprouts, an hour. The wheatgrass juice, which is a juice, but it's still wheatgrass, 60 to 90 minutes. Most vegetables, 1 to 2 hours. Grains and beans, 1 to 2 hours. Dense vegetables, nuts, seeds, avocados, and 2 to 3 hours. Now that, as you look at this, what you're going to see is the longer it stays in the stomach, the longer you go without feeling hungry. Okay, so if you're just doing fruit, you're going to feel hungry more often, which you should because you're not getting very many calories, obviously. But when you get into the sprouts and stuff, you're going to be hungry sooner than you are if you're eating, say, avocados. Even though avocados is a soft, seems like it's a soft, mushy food, and nuts and seeds are dense, they both stay in the stomach about the same amount of time because of the protein. Cooked meat and fish, 3 to 4 hours. Shellfish stays in longer. It's more dense, 4 to 8 hours. And then improper combined meals and bad foods will stay in up to 8 hours. Okay. So a lot of times when people eat badly, they'll talk about stomach aches. They'll talk about things that, they don't feel well. My stomach hurts because it's staying in the stomach a very long time. So there's 4 main signs that you can look at to indicate whether or not you're digesting properly. First is, and hopefully everybody looks at their stools. Okay, many times I talk to, especially women, I'll say, tell me how your stools look. And they just look at me like, you're crazy. I don't look at them. Okay. And why would I want to look at them? But it's very important to look at your stools to see what color are they floating. You don't have to look at them to smell, but any stuff attached to it and stuff, that's important to know. But for this thing, visible food chunks. Okay. So if you're getting pieces of lettuce or whole beans or stuff like that after you eliminate in your stools, that's a sign your body is not digesting because it's coming through in chunks. Okay. So except if you eat sweet corn, corn will come out whole no matter what. Okay. So you can write that one off. All right. If your food is coming through too fast, it doesn't give your body time to digest. So let's say you eat and you eliminate in 10 hours. Now, here's the thing. Only eating fruits, it will come through much faster. Okay. But most people aren't just going to eat fruit. Okay. But fruit is a vitamin C and can help with constipation if somebody is constipated. But what we're talking about in this case is that we're eating a rounded diet with plenty of protein, carbohydrate, proper carbohydrates and fats. But if it goes through too fast, it doesn't give the body time to process the nutrients. So you're just losing the nutrients. And that is why if you eat a quart of blueberries all at once, within a couple hours, you're going to be on the bathroom. Okay. And you're not getting, that's just too much at once. The tank is leaking. You can put it all the gas you want, but if it's not going to be used because it's going to be lost through the leak. And that's basically what happens. And that can cause very soft stools and diarrhea. And then if you have persistent diarrhea, that is a problem and it needs to be talked about, looked at, figured out what food you're eating, and what's causing it. Next is greasy looking stools. And when I say greasy looking, I'm talking about it's not really formed, but it just looks like it's oil with it. Okay. Another way to tell if it's greasy, and this, is when you wipe. If you wipe and there's just, a lot of stuff there, that means it's greasy. All right. And it kind of sticks around the anus. So it's not moving. If healthy stool, wiping is virtually hardly anything. All right. That's another way to tell whether your stools are healthy or not healthy. Acid reflux and indigestion. If you're getting acid reflux, you're eating and it's coming back up, you're burping, you feel pressure in the kind of the middle of your chest after you eat, that's gas buildup. That's a sign that your body's not digesting. And what can happen, that can also affect esophagus. It can, and the upper part of your GI tract. Bloating and wind. Does everybody know what I mean by wind? Wind here and there. Okay. So the it's kind of like if you've ever been around a brewery. Okay. The ingredients of beer are grain, sugar, and yeast. And when you ferment them all, you get a fuzzy gas and alcohol. And that's really what that means. So if you eat white refined stuff like rice, breads, and pastas, and then you add the sugars and frizzy drinks, you eat cakes, sweets, all the hidden sugars that you might find in foods, etc., then you build up a bevy of bacteria and it starts to ferment, and that comes up normally. Okay. So that's what we mean by bloating. And then the wind is flatulation. If some people think, oh, that's just normal. Everybody should be doing it. That's not true. The body was not made to walk around and make sounds from the backside. Okay. So it's just not the way it works. Okay. Okay. So what should your stools look like if constipation normally separate, say it's like rabbit birds, okay?
That's what I call
So we don't want hard lumps. We don't want the kind of the sausage shape. They're kind of firm but real lumpy. A normal stool is thicker, but that's a sign you're getting the right enzymes, you're getting enough fiber, those kind of things.
drinking enough water.
Drinking enough water, absolutely. And then if it's smooth, soft, and uniform, kind of in the shape of a colon, a lot of times it'll be like a horseshoe. That's really good. If a stool lacks fiber, it becomes blobs, and just kind of I call it kind of like cow plops. Okay. For those of you who ever lived on a farm. Diarrhea stool is fluffy, kind of mushy, raggedy. And then the other one is watery liquid with no solid pieces. It's just a loose, and that would be more like the cow plop. Okay. So when you look at your stools, you want to know what it looks like. And as we go through our life, day in, day out, we eat different. We don't drink enough water at times. So it can kind of guide us a little bit. And what do I need and what does it look like and why? And that's something that a lot of time. Well, why do we have to talk about passing gas and burping? Because that's, again, symptoms of something. Early, then what's going to happen is you're going to take care of the problem before it becomes a problem. Okay, so we want to introduce what we have talked a little bit about it last meeting, and it's called Blue Poo. Okay, Blue Poo is a product, and the lady that was on talk about microbiomes and etc. This is kind of a my biome part of that, but I didn't want to get that deep into it. And this is a supplement that will track gut transit time. Okay, and it's a capsule. You take 2 of them, and you normally take it with
Meal.
with a meal, and a good meal, not if you're just going to eat a bowl of fruit. Okay, you don't do it with that. You do it with a meal. And what will happen is blue, and when you use it, you will see blue, and it's not a light blue; it's blue. Okay, the water will be blue, so you'll know. And what you want to look at is, and we're using this starting to use it on people, not on Candida people, but on other programs. We're using this so people can track, and you can use it anytime. So there's 24 capsules in it, so it gives you an opportunity 12 different times. You don't do it daily. We recommend, not that it would hurt you to do it. No sense in pooping blue all the time. We recommend if you want to. Some people can do it, you're not in a program or anything, it'd be once a month, just to see what the transit time is. Am I eliminating in 24, 36 hours, or is it taking longer? Or is it too soon? Is it 6 hours? And that type of thing. So it helps you, it helps us when you talk to us. How long did it take? One young lady who we put on, she texted me and she said, in 24 hours, my poop is blue today. And that's a good thing. 24 hours, what we want. We do everything ourselves before we have anybody else do it, so we can know what's happening. We talk to the people that produced it, etc. And it's actually produced by the company Systemic that we use on the product type of thing. So that's Blue Poo. Okay.
And if you can see, John's shirt is
It's frozen. Oops.
or there what just happened. Why did we lose that? Okay, already there. I
Yeah,
didn't
the
touch
last
it.
thing I heard you say was John's shirt is blue.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Okay.
all right.
So it's the same color when you eliminate, it's the same color as my shirt. Okay. When you eliminate.
So it's all natural. It has blue spirulina, indigo teen, cellulose and silica. The cellulose in it is in the capsule, and that's why John won't put it on anyone who's on a Candida program. We have these in the offices if you're interested in buying it. And we'll give you a little sheet where you can, log of those, the healthy stools and the unhealthy stools, so you can, see what type of stool you're eliminating. Okay.
And the other thing is some of the programs that when people say, I suffer from constipation or diarrhea, I'm actually going to put it as part of the program in the future so that, and it'll be on the calendar, what days to take it. Because we don't want people taking on liquid days. We don't want, so we will monitor that and then and guide people better on their elimination. Okay. So optimize, slow down. Elimination. You got to slow down and take care of ourselves. All right. Number two, do a mealtime check-in. Okay. Chew the food. Pause in between bites. You know, I'll just use myself. I have a tendency to eat too fast. That my nature is to go, go, go. And when I eat, a lot of times I end up shoveling it in and getting done and all that stuff. We have to stop and slow down when we eat, just like we slow down our care of your body. And when you're eating, you only drink fluids to quench thirst. Okay, so you don't drink a lot of water while you're eating. It's fine before, it's fine after, but while you're eating, it's better to eat and not be putting the fluids in. So people who eat and they have a cup of coffee all the time, they're drinking coffee between every 2 or 3 bites, you're actually depleting the body of the nutrients because of the fluids. So you want to take time to think about that. You don't need it. It's a habit. Okay. Whether it's coffee, tea, water, juices, all that stuff. And a lot of times people give kids juices to drink while they're eating, and that you just not a good idea. Be thoughtful and present. Okay. What we mean by that is times we sit down to eat in front of the TV. Okay. We decide I'm going to eat now and that's it. You need to take the time to sit down and eat your meal. Take the time to think about the food you're putting in your body, not just it's food, I'm just going to shovel it in. Because mental health, mental clarity, and thinking about what food you're doing, what it's doing for your body can. People sit around phones, look at the phone while you're eating. You're all those kind of. So, just some thoughts to improve your digestive system. Take time to eat. Clean out the junk. Okay. Reset your system. We need to reset the digestive system periodically, not once and then it's done. Periodically, we stress detoxification. Okay, detoxification cleans and resets the digestive system. Funny look, like, oh, but
It's been years since she has.
Yeah, and if you just reset things, it'll be fine. It's like, cleaning the house, cleaning, whatever it might be. Sometimes we just need to reset, all right? Because things get carried away. Reset the gut flora. Flora in the gut is a good bacteria. And the good bacteria can get overwhelmed by the bad bacteria. If you don't reset it, then the unfriendly bacteria overwhelms and we get sick. We end up with all kinds of digestive problems and health problems. Reset your metabolism, energy, food is eaten for health. We should not be eating because we have to eat. Okay, it's time to eat. So we need to reset by eating the right foods, eat at the right time, because is about resetting the immune system, keeping your immune system strong and healthy. And detoxification is the first step in healing, cleaning the body. Just like, you're got a lot of stuff in your house or in your garage. The best way to have room in the garage is to clean it out. And same thing with the body, if you think about analogies like that. Okay, so kind of a overview. An estimated 95% of all disease begins in a toxic colon. And firstly, every disease is a result of bacterial poisons. And here's the thing, we are not devoid of poisons. We live in a society that's poisonous, whether it's food, whether it's water, uses into the body and systems from the intestines. So we have to understand that we're going to get the stuff in our body. You can, unless you live in a bubble, you're going to get it. And you have to keep working to clean it out. When you detox, we detox every kidneys, blood, tissues, solid waste systems, okay, which is the entire intestinal tract. And all of that above resets the digestive organs. And that's why people say, I hate to detox, but when I'm done, I feel so good. I have energy, I'm sleeping better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But going through the process, especially if you're unhealthy, is tough. So we have the detoxes, we have two of them. We have the basic, which we call our classic cleanse detox. This one you're looking at is a deeper cleanse because you have supplements that you take beyond for a couple weeks. We'll show you to clean your body out periodically. That's about balancing gut flora with proper, good, healthy probiotic. There are so many probiotics out there. People bring them into me and say, I'm taking this probiotic, and we read the ingredients and it's loaded with fillers and binders and toxic stuff. And people always ask me, why would they put that in there? Well, because people don't know any different. They see the word probiotic. Somebody says you need a probiotic. I found one in the store that's $2.50 for 100 capsules, and I'm going to take one at a time. You might as well take nothing, or it might even be negative for your body. You need good quality. Anything you do to your body, you need quality. There's one impact. Three about your weight. Okay, quit worrying about it. If you eat right, you do the right things, the weight will take care of itself. All right. So let me say that again. If you do the right things, you eat the proper foods, and you take the right nutrients, the weight will take care of itself. But people who worry about it is like worrying about have to understand the system works. Your body is made beautifully by God, and it's meant to be healthy. So you gotta quit worrying about it and let it happen as long as you do the right things. So superfoods, we've talked about them before: coconut oil, wild caught salmon, sprouts, mushrooms, pasteurized eggs, fermented cabbage. Fermented cabbage full fat yogurt, I should say, grass-fed beef, bison, wild game. Go ahead, take the rest.
Avocados, kiwi, spinach, broccoli, bone broth, and grass-fed butter.
And if you eat these, you will get healthier. But a lot of times people eat them for 2 or 3 days and say, well, I feel pretty good. And they'll say, well, I'm going to do this. Well, things don't get set in a day or 2 days or 3 days. It just doesn't work that way. You have to do it in order to let the body heal. Okay. So that is a digestive system. I'd like to turn it over for questions. Raise your hand, holler at us, whatever you want.
Nobody. Everybody absorbed all that pretty well?
Is everybody shy?
Everybody to sleep?
Posted a question earlier about one of the ingredients in the blue poo.
Oh, we just lost you, Kim. Say again?
And I posted earlier a question about a couple of the ingredients in that blue poo.
Oh, no, well, I said the cellulose is in the capsule.
Yep, it's plant cellulose.
Plant cellulose, and silica is not bad for you. Silica is fine.
Okay,
It's from the earth.
all right. Well, I wasn't sure because I always figured that was an additive we see it in other things and try to steer away from it because of it.
No,
It's fine.
yeah, it's fine. Sorry, I didn't see that.
That's okay.
But she posted that question.
So I had to get off and come back on in order to get the slideshow because I wasn't seeing it. So I'm not sure if there's anything specifically
Cellulose
that
by
I missed.
itself.
But
Cellulose by itself is not good, but plant cellulose. That's like sugar in vegetables. That's okay. Okay, sugar is not good, but does that make sense? So there's sugar in tomatoes, there's sugar in potatoes, but it's a natural. Same thing with cellulose. If it's plant cellulose, it's okay.
a message that your bandwidth is low, which must be why you keep freezing.
Well, you just froze a couple times there.
Yeah.
Well, I
Jane,
don't know
did
if
you
this
have a
message
question?
came up, but it said your bandwidth was low. But anyway, so how do you know if it's plant-based cellulose? Do they have to say, or is it just
It'll tell you, it'll say plant cellulose.
so when you were going through the
If it just says
intestinal-
cellulose, that's it, it's not plant-based.
Or say vegetable
Or
cellulose.
vegetable
I've
cellulose,
seen,
yeah.
vegetable cellulose.
Vegetable cellulose.
Okay.
Jane, did you have a question? You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Now we
now we
can.
can.
Oh, on the bone broth, can you just buy the bone broth that's in the store?
You can, because to make your own, I mean, it's time consuming. But yeah, you can buy, there's a brand, Kettle and Fire I've seen. That's a good one.
Okay,
So yeah, you just look and that should be the only ingredient should be either, beef bone or broth or chicken bone broth.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Does that blue poo turn your colon blue or just a stool blue?
Just a stool blue,
Good question.
just a stool. If you took it every day, all the time, it might get a bluish color in the colon, but just take it once,
So
It's like-
it just shows up once
Yeah.
after you take the pills, or a couple of days, or
Well, you just take 2 with a meal, and that's all you take. And then you wait to see your poo turn blue.
But I suppose it depends on how you're eliminating. If you're, might see it blue for a couple of times, but if you're doing good, formed eliminations, you should really only see it that once until a week or 10 days later, you take it again. If you wanted to. Okay. All right, so someone's got a question about their Zyto.
Yeah, talked about taking calcium, and when they did the Zyto, it didn't show they needed calcium. As we talked about earlier, enzymes are all throughout the body. So some lack of calcium. It's a lack of enzymes or proper enzymes in the body. And that is why other nutrients are needed at that time to help restore that issue. So a lot of times people think I need to be on calcium, and medicine will say, well, you're a female, you went through menopause and you need calcium all the time. That's not necessarily true. Okay. So our body changes. I can test somebody one time and they need calcium. The next 3 months, they don't. Okay. So that's important of taking the proper supplements that your body needs. Before, we used to do what, and some of you remember, we did what we call the daily 6. Everybody took the same 6, but we find, through studies, research, testing, you find that obviously not everybody needs calcium, not everybody needs vital. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So there's times when it comes up the essential packs. And so there's 5 or 6 different things. It's a variety. So we have to go with what the body needs rather than what we think we need. And it all comes back to proper eating and digestion and enzymes and all that type of thing. Anybody else? Clayton, you? No? Clayton always has a question. Clayton's always good for a question. Hey, Maureen.
There are hints about eating slower. I know, like, you're supposed to sing the birthday song while you wash your hands and brush your teeth. Is there any thing in your head that you can help to slow you down? Because I get really fast.
I was trying to find a clip from the I Love Lucy show many, many years ago where she said, I just always remember this, where she was eating and someone told her that she needed to chew and put her fork down, and she would chew and she would count it, Lucy Ball, how she was. And I couldn't find it. I wanted to share that today. So yeah, you should take a bite, put your fork down, chew thoroughly, and swallow before you pick up your fork, put another bite in your mouth. Which I'm guilty of
Nobody does that.
not doing that.
And that's the perfect way. I mean, we have to be thinking of what life is about.
Mhm.
So, but we just need to slow it down. If we slow it down a third or a quarter, just slow down our eating. Even if it's, people will eat their meal, spread it out, make it longer so the body can digest and take care of itself.
Remember that episode.
Maureen, you had
though.
a question? Okay. Maureen, you had a question?
I just wanted to know, is it my computer that's not working, or is it you? Because I missed half of what you were trying to say.
Keep freezing.
Say that again?
I just wanted to know if it's your computer or mine, because you kept going out all the time.
Mine
I don't-
too.
I don't
Mine
know.
too.
Mine too.
Oh,
All right, well,
It's a bad internet connection for some reason. I don't know
yeah,
why.
I mean, we're
Oh.
connected. I should be able to get this up, email this to everyone tomorrow. So hopefully it
Look at your emails
it
and we'll get
recorded
to you.
well. I think we're
Okay.
still recording. All right, I'm gonna stop recording now.